This UCSD TV program is a presentation of University of California Television for educational and non-commercial use only.
Hello and welcome. I'm Cecil Lytle, Professor Emeritus of Music here at the University of California, San Diego. During my 35 years on the UCSD faculty, I have had the privilege of serving as department chair, serving on numerous committees of the Academic Senate, provost of Thurgood Marshall College for 17 years, and presided over the founding of Preuss School, a successful college prep charter school for low-income students housed on the campus of UCSD. Tonight, it's my pleasure to be your host for this third edition of UCSD TV's year-long series celebrating UC San Diego's 50th anniversary. So stay with us for UCSD at 50. "50 years ago, San Diego's economy was based almost exclusively on defense and tourism. That changed, of course, in great part due to UC San Diego. Our culture of discovery and innovation transformed the region into a hub for new industries in IT and biotechnology. But as Bob Sullivan, the founding dean of UCSD's Rady School of Management explains, starting new businesses was not enough. To sustain growth, the region needed more."
These are all small companies. They are startup types of companies based upon discovery. And what you needed in this community then was the ability to transform discovery, to do something with it so that it went to the communities to have an impact, to create jobs, lead to economic development, prosperity. That's what we didn't have.
So the university and business community here, many of them affiliated with UC San Diego's Connect program, pushed for a management school aimed at the industries of the 21st century.
These are life science types, these are clean tech, green tech, these are telecommunications, software, wireless types of industries.
Bob Sullivan, previously dean of business schools in Pittsburgh, Chapel Hill, and Austin, was tapped to run the new venture in San Diego.
Those companies are critically important to the future. We said we would also focus on individuals that have very strong science and engineering backgrounds. In order to be successful, our graduates will be able to go into the laboratory, talk to the people that are really developing the intellectual capital. They'll be credible to them. They actually understand the science. They understand what's happening. They can articulate it, but then come out and they are the communicator and the leader.
But between the time that Sullivan accepted the post and his arrival in 2003, the $50 million that had been promised to launch the school disappeared.
What I was then told is that the resources were not there, and that due to changes in the economy, that individuals were not able to live up to their commitments, and that we were starting all over. So the committed resources at that time were zero.
The community did not give up on the idea. A gift from Qualcomm honoring board member Jerome Katzen, followed by grants from developer Malin Burnham and venture capitalist Bill Stensrud, led to some 300 additional private contributions, including a naming gift from business executive Ernest Rady, putting the new school on solid ground. The Rady School's first master's program was the Flex MBA, designed for working professionals such as Beth Ann Baber, at the time a cancer researcher at the Salk Institute.
Beth came with a mission. It was a focus on doing something extraordinary because she had a personal commitment because of her family circumstance.
So while I was working at the Salk Institute, my son, who was 15 months old at the time, was diagnosed with neuroblastoma, which is a very deadly childhood cancer.
The tumor in her son Connor bumped against his heart.
The prognosis at the time was probably less than a 50% survival rate, based on the size of the tumor and its location, as well as how mature the tumor was, and we did not even know if it would respond to therapy.
Because of the high risk of side effects, Connor's parents chose to forego the recommended bone marrow transplant and instead used their knowledge about cancer cells to personalize Connor's treatment with a less toxic chemotherapy, a treatment that worked. Connor, now 6, is cancer-free. That experience inspired Baber to investigate why so few other young cancer patients had access to novel therapies.
By looking at what the problem was, I started discovering that the reason is that the market size for childhood cancer is very small, and that companies were not investing in that area. So even though we have a lot of great research that's been done and can be utilized for the children, they're just not being licensed out of research organizations and moved into commercialization.
So Baber and a Salk colleague founded the Nicholas Conor Institute for Pediatric Cancer Research to translate positive lab results into effective treatments. And the business skills she learned at the Rady School helped her shape the Institute to thrive in today's market.
As a scientist, she's also been a mobilizer of the community to get behind this, and she's really created an institute that is not like any others. It's really a kind of a shared type of institute with facilities and researchers that have appointments in various locations.
TNCI collaborates with companies already studying cancer by providing support for the less lucrative research on children. With help from CureSearch, a foundation that supports the Children's Oncology Group, a consortium of 230 hospitals conducting clinical trials on various types of pediatric cancer. Their shared agenda: personalizing treatment for each child.
We've had so many advances in research over the last number of years so that we're getting to understand at the very specific individual level how a disease affects or how a disease manifests. So if you can look at each individual and understand from a diagnostic perspective and then from that perspective and apply the therapeutic side, you might be able to target therapies toward the individual's disease rather than sort of a broad idea of the disease.
One partnership sponsored by CureSearch is with Althea Diagnostics.
Althea has a diagnostic test for a group of cancers in children called small round cell blue tumors. There's 5 different cancers. All of them are very deadly. If you look under the microscope, the cells all look small and round and they stain blue. So sometimes it's very difficult to determine which cancer it is. And it's not unusual for the child to be misdiagnosed. With this test, there is a 99% accuracy, and the test can be done overnight. To move this test forward, it needs additional validation, so that we need to secure samples to validate the test. Because we're working with clinical institutions, we can get those institutions to use the test in their clinical trials. What is very important is that these 5 different cancers have 5 different treatment protocols. So it's extremely important to determine which cancer it is so the child receives the right treatment.
Today, 46 parents are going to be told their child has cancer.
The Nicholas Conor Institute, with Baber at the helm, is on its way toward raising millions for pediatric cancer research, something that Baber says was made possible by the education she received at Rady.
The Rady School has definitely changed my life, in that it has provided me the tools that I needed to launch the Nicholas Conor Institute. And the Rady School continues to support me in any efforts that they have, that they see that might be beneficial to fulfilling my dream, which is finding cures and therapies for children with cancer.
And for Bob Sullivan, he is as confident as ever that his dream for the Rady School of Management will come true.
Sticking to our guns in this identity that innovation is important. We can't be a generalist, but we need to play off strengths of this community, and will not only impact this community, it's going to impact the world. These are not local types of companies. A Qualcomm influences the world. We'll create we will graduate a person that will create a company as successful as Qualcomm. I guarantee it.
My name's Erik Contreras. I'm one of the vision screeners at the UCSD iMobile for Children for the Community Ophthalmology at the Shiley Eye Center. We see over 200 schools, so we go as far south as right next to the border, and we go up north past Carlsbad, we go to Ramona, we go east. We screen over 13,000 a year, and of those 13,000, about 1,500 of those receive glasses. We're dealing with children that come from low-income families who have sometimes no transportation, have no way to get to any medical facilities, so for us coming into the center, we have the advantage of helping them where we can see as many as 100 kids in one day and offer the vision and hearing screenings, some basic necessities. When we get here, we actually go into the classrooms. We gather 5 to 6 kids and we walk with them and the teacher. That way they're comfortable.
I'm sure it's going to be a fun game. And while we wait, you can read all kinds.
When we do vision screenings, we try to make everything kid-friendly. So a lot of times kids have this kind of notion that we're doctors and that we're gonna give them shots. So when they see this machine that looks kind of foreign to them, and so we try to tell them is that they're gonna watch a cartoon. When in reality in the autorefractor, all they have is the image of a tree or maybe a flower. But we try to incorporate what they know.
SpongeBob or Spider-Man? ¿Spider-Man? Ok, vamos a buscar a Spider-Man aquí dentro, ok? A ver, vamos a mirar aquí dentro.
With hearing screenings, we use an odometer where we use headphones. We call it the bucket game, a listening game.
Pon el juguete cuando te escuchas dentro, ok? ¿Se escucha? A ver, ponlo dentro. Muy bien. Ahora otro juguete, a ver.
It's not an 8 to 5 in the office. I'm always out in the community interacting with teachers, with the kids, with parents. And it's something that I feel like it's making a difference. I'm not only providing some medical service to the children, but I'm actually being in the classrooms and I'm kind of reliving my preschool year, so it's kind of fun. It's never a dull moment.
Escucha. Muy bien, Diane. Ahora Wendy's turn. Good job, Wendy. Anthony's turn.
In 232, I think if it's a little softer and a little shorter, it'll probably sit better. It doesn't have to be too loud.
How does a percussionist become a conductor?
A percussionist becomes a conductor by dropping one stick. That's the, the standard joke. It seemed like a kind of logical extension of my musical life, my musical mind. I've always loved the music of the orchestra, and when the chance came to perform it and not simply to listen to it on my stereo, I just leapt at it. Every orchestra, every arts institution belongs to a place. And so what we mean with that with respect to the La Jolla Symphony and Chorus is that we are an orchestra rooted in this community, seeking to make art that's relevant to the community, that comes from the community and that feeds back into it. And it's also a volunteer orchestra, so everyone, including myself, plays for free. For nearly 50 years, the La Jolla Symphony and Chorus has been affiliated with UCSD. We have many students. I think approximately 20% or nearly 20% of the membership of the La Jolla Symphony and Chorus consists of students. We present our concerts here on campus at Mandeville Auditorium. There's a wide sort of audience participation from the university community, including students and faculty members, staff people. We bring, I think approximately 6,000 audience members onto campus every year for various functions that we do. So it's a conduit from the university to the community, and then also from the community by virtue of the membership of the orchestra and chorus onto the university. It's a kind of fluid membrane through which information and culture and art passes both ways.
Scriabin wrote a part for a very large orchestra, as you can see, a chorus which will enter just before its entrance. Piano solo part played wonderfully by Noriko Kawai, our guest this time, and he wrote for an instrument called the color organ. In other words, he wrote a part for a lighting plot, including color, and this was some 100 years ago, so it was a very, very advanced idea.
It's a spectacular experience to be able to take sometimes kind of naughty music, dissemble it in front of them, teach it and work on it, and have a kind of almost instantaneous grasp of the concept behind the music, because they have high levels of intellectual apparatus and theoretical background in their own private lives. You know, the commitment is really palpable, and it's really breathtaking, I think. Standing in the place that I get to stand in an orchestra concert is one of the most thrilling things you can imagine. When you have 115 people around you, and you can sense that with those 115 people, you're making your way to this kind of singular moment in which everybody is participating, and the sound is coming from all around you, and it's loud and it's vigorous, and you're just floating on top of it. You will never wonder again why live performance is important, and you'll never wonder again what art has to offer to us. It is this plasma that we all need, and if you could somehow just inject that directly into your system, you'd live 1,000 years, I think. It is so fantastic.
Welcome to the White House.
National Medal of Science to Mary Ann Fox, University of California, San Diego.
In 2000, Governor Gray Davis led the creation of the California Institutes for Science and Innovation, among them Calit2, a collaboration led by UC San Diego that includes UC Irvine and technology industry partners from around the region.
Science, physics, and math is where it's at in this state. These centers of science and innovation will be the portal to the future, and the future is now.
On the occasion of the 10th anniversary of their creation, the institutes have been rededicated as the Governor Gray Davis Institutes for Science and Innovation. Did Calit2 live up to his vision?
Did it live up to my vision? It so far exceeded my vision, I am just blown away, because there are so many global partners and so many business partners. That was really something I insisted upon. I knew if major corporations had an investment in Calit2, this institute would be around for decades to improve the quality of life and to serve humanity. So marrying the private sector with the University of California and ensuring that the Institute operated in a highly collaborative fashion.
Here we pull together so many different disciplines that we're looking at how will the continued exponential digital revolution in IT and telecom intertwine with the nanotechnology exponentials, the biotechnology exponentials, to literally transform our society and provide solutions to the seemingly intractable challenges that California faces.
Every day is a brand new day. You know, it sounds like a cliche, but it is so true here.
And we to some extent celebrate that, you know. I mean, it's what keeps the place going. Everybody's looking forward to engaging with the bright new idea, bright new people.
I see something new every day that I walk around in Calit2. We've built 1/3 of a billion pixel tiled walls. We've created 3-dimensional virtual reality caves. If you stroll through the building, you'd see an art gallery for digital exploration. Go in upstairs, find an Einstein robot that can recognize your emotions. Go into what has become the world's most advanced photonics lab. Go down a couple of floors into wireless sensor laboratories. I mean, in one building.
And so when we look at the facts, we find that we're working with 24 different departments. People come together around projects, around ideas that are meaningful to them, you know, naturally. And when that happens, there are no boundaries here. So everybody here is a first-class citizen.
This is all shared. This means anybody with a great idea, anybody who has an innovation to show it can actually happen, can go into that lab, make those experiments, and bring into the world something that didn't exist before.
A startup can come into our labs here and test things out. They don't need to buy a single piece of equipment. They pay a few $100s an hour and they're done.
As a shared incubator for ideas and innovators from across many disciplines within and outside the university, Calit2 is transforming technology and the way we use it so we can better address challenges in health, energy, the environment, and culture.
Technology has to become invisible. This is always the case. When technology is successful, no one's paying any attention to the technology. You're paying attention to what the technology is helping you relate to. And so this is what we stand poised to do. You can't do that if your technological platforms are not sufficiently advanced, but we are finally there, I believe.
Imagine that you actually literally digitize from satellites, from sensors, and developing essentially a digital California. And now have supercomputers actually simulating the flow of water, the air, and making what-ifs. Where will the floods be? Where will the lack of water occur? Where are the fires most likely to occur? These are tools we don't have today. And yet, we're going to have them because we can't manage an environment we can't measure, we can't predict. We've got to inject science and evidence-based arguments. And this is what a university like UCSD is perfect for.
This vision of transforming our uses of technology in the wireless age has already brought Calit2 a number of successes in its first 10 years, including the Wizard system and Stroke Doc. Wizard, or Wireless Internet Information System for Medical Response in Disasters, enables the creation of real-time electronic medical records of victims and patients triaged at disaster scenes, and Stroke Doc allows medical experts to provide rapid and accurate diagnosis of stroke victims via wireless internet. As well as revolutionizing communication for first responders and improving outcomes for stroke victims, this technology has created a number of exciting possibilities for the future of telemedicine.
So I imagine a USB device that you hook up to a PC that is at an internet kiosk, low cost, you don't even have to own one of these things, might be able to do a blood test. You know, little pinprick, it scans, does all your blood work, and uploads that information. And there is some doctor sitting in some corner of the world, right, who can look at the information and tell you what you need to do. So I think if you think of countries like India and China, where there are billions of people who need health care, I think telemedicine is not an esoteric, exotic pursuit.
It doesn't matter what country we're in. The telecommunications revolution, together with the digital media revolution, has meant that we're really inhabiting a single room. We're going to have an ability to see the diversity of culture on this planet that humans have never experienced. And my great hope is that what that will do is to provide a new impetus for learning how to live together peacefully, productively, increasing economically the well-being of all people on Earth. If we can simply add to that at Calit2 by accelerating some of these telecommunications capabilities, then that alone will have been worth the journey.
November 18th marked the official 50th birthday for UC San Diego. On that date in 1960, the Regents signed the documents that established this campus as the 7th in the University of California system. In 2010, we celebrated by honoring those who launched each of its 4 academic divisions, 6 undergraduate colleges, and 6 professional schools, as well as the faculty, staff, alumni, donors, and students who comprise the UC San Diego community. We leave you now with scenes from Founders Day. I'm Cecil Lytle. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time on UCSD at 50.
College, the first of UC San Diego's 6 undergraduate colleges, began educating undergraduates at UC San Diego in 1964.
Both in my graduate training and now in my position as professor, I'm fortunate to be part of an outstanding university where every single day there's an opportunity to collaborate with scientists across fields and disciplines.
It is important that we, the current students of this noble institution, undergraduate and graduate alike, dedicate ourselves to preserving the legacy of public education that for the last 50 years has endured on this campus.
We must be the campus of choice for students by attacking problems of importance that will change the world.
Now, just maybe, at our next celebration, your grandchildren will wonder aloud, what do they mean, grandmother, when they talk about diversity or someone does not look like you or me? Isn't that the way it's supposed to be?
Notion, for example, of a school of management. Maybe in 50 years, that concept as a school of management will be obsolete. I would be open to that concept. But something else is going to replace it. And we should be the definers of what that something else is going to be.
If 50 years could get us to where we are, I think if we just keep going at this rate, I think would be an extraordinary force globally. So the important thing is to not get comfortable.